Hi, I'm Stella Herrera Williams, and welcome back to Navigating Senior Care with Stella. In my first episode, I told you I'm both a senior placement advocate and a daughter caring for my mom with dementia. In episode 2, I shared about recognizing the early signs of dementia and the resources here in Austin. Today, I need to share something more personal, something that completely changed how I approach caregiving, both professionally and personally. Because sometimes the caregiver becomes the one who needs care. Did you hear that one? The caregiver becomes the one who needs care. I'm going to be vulnerable with you today because I think my story might help someone who's listening right now, who's feeling exhausted, who's feeling like they can't keep going, who's feeling like they have to hold it all together. Here's what happened. While I was caring for my mom, managing my business, helping Austin families navigate their senior care decisions, updating facility listings, writing my book, trying to be everything to everyone. My body said, enough. I had a health crisis, and suddenly the person who helps everyone else figure out their care plans needed help herself. I'm not going to go into all the medical details because that's not really the point of this story. The point is what I learned when I couldn't be the strong one anymore. First, I learned that caregivers are terrible at taking their own advice. I spend my days telling families you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to take care of yourself first. It's not selfish to prioritize your health. But was I following any of that advice? No, I was running on fumes, stress, and the belief that I could somehow do all of it if I just tried harder. Second, I learned that asking for help is not weakness, it's wisdom. When I physically couldn't take care of my mom the way I had been, I had to reach out to family, to friends, to the very resources I recommend to other families. And you know what? People showed up for me. But here's the thing I really want you to hear. I had to get to a crisis point before I asked for help. And that's exactly what I tell families not to do when I'm working with them professionally. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we wait until we're broken before we admit we need support? I'm not alone in this. According to the Family Caregiver Alliance, over 40% of family caregivers report feeling emotionally strained, and 1 in 3 say their own health has gotten worse since they started caregiving. That's not a small number. That's millions of people running themselves into the ground trying to care for someone they love. I think it's because when we're caring for someone we love, especially a parent who wants to care of us, that there's this deep belief that we should be able to handle it. That needing help means we're failing them, somehow. But that's not true. Taking care of yourself isn't taking away from your loved one. It's ensuring that you can care for them for the long haul. Here's what I tell families now and what I wish I'd told myself earlier. Caregiving is a marathon, not a sprint. If you run full speed from the start, you won't make it to the finish line. Your health matters just as much as theirs. If you collapse, who's going to take care of them? Who's going to take care of you? Asking for help is not admitting defeat. It's being smart, it's being strategic, it's being human. There are resources, use them. Adult day programs, support groups, home health services. I recommend, I recommend them to families every day, but I had to get sick before I used them myself. So if you're listening to this right now and you're exhausted, if you can't remember the last time you took a full breath or had a moment just for yourself, if you're running on coffee and sure will, I'm giving you permission to stop, to ask yourself, to admit you can't do this alone because you weren't meant to. My health crisis taught me something else important. The best gift you can give your loved one isn't perfect care, it's sustainable care. It's showing up day after day because you've taken care of yourself enough to keep showing up. And here's what happened when I finally accepted help. My mom's care actually got better because I wasn't resentful, I wasn't exhausted, I wasn't running on empty. I could be present when I was with her because I had breaks to recharge. If you're in Austin and you're struggling right now, here are some resources. The Area Agency on Aging of the Capital Area offers caregiver support and respite care information. Family elder care provides various support services for caregivers. Many of the communities I work with through Tour Senior Living offers respite stays, short-term care that gives you a break. And those caregiver support groups I mentioned in episode 2, they're not just for people whose loved ones have dementia. They're for anyone who's tired, overwhelmed, and needs to know they're not alone. Because here's the truth nobody tells you about caregiving. It will change you, it will test you, it will break you open. And if you let it, it will also teach you about love, resilience, and what really matters. But you can't learn those lessons if you burn yourself out trying to be superhuman. My health crisis was my wake up call. I don't wish that experience on anyone, but I'm grateful for what it taught me about asking for help, setting boundaries, and understanding that taking care of myself isn't selfish, it's essential. So if this is your wake up call, if hearing my story makes you realize you're headed down the same path I was on, please don't wait for a crisis. Ask for help now. Take that break now. Use those resources. There's a lot of resources out there. Your loved one needs you, but they need the best version of you, not the burnt out version of you. In our next episode, I want to talk about the different senior living options here in Austin and how to know when it might be time to consider them. Because sometimes the most loving thing we can do is recognize when home care isn't sustainable anymore for them or for us. Until then, this is Stella Herrera Williams. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And remember, asking for help isn't giving up, it's showing up in a smarter, more sustainable way. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and thank you for letting me share my story with you. Be gentle with yourself today. You're doing better than you think.